This is a demonstration of problem 732B, accounting for petty cash transactions. Suppose that on September 1st, Cool Gyrations, a disc jockey service, creates a petty cash fund with an impressed balance of $350. During September, Ruth Mangan, fund custodian, signed the following petty cash tickets, and the problem lists 5 petty cash tickets with the item that was purchased and the amount. Then the problem states on September 30th, prior to replenishment, the fund contains these tickets plus cash of $210. The accounts affected by petty cash payments are office supplies, entertainment expense, and postage expense. Requirement 1 states, on September 30th, how much cash should this petty cash fund hold before it is replenished? So we know that the original amount of the fund, according to the problem, was $350. Then we add up all of our petty cash tickets, which total $135, and the fund should have in it $215. However, if you notice, the problem tells us that on September 30th, in addition to these tickets, the fund had $210 of cash. So that means that we are missing either a ticket for $5 or we gave someone an incorrect amount of change. So we're going to have an amount that we're going to have to debit to cash shorten over for $5 in order for our fund to balance. The requirement 2 states that we are to journalize all required entries to first create the fund and B, to replenish it. So on September 1st, when we created the fund, we would debit petty cash for $350 and credit cash for $350. And most likely we would have written a check and we would take it to the bank and cash it and get the $350. When we go to replenish the fund at the end of the month, we do not debit petty cash. We debit the expenses for the tickets that are in the fund. So we know that we had postage for a package that we received for $25, so we're going to debit postage expense for $25. We also noticed that we spent $10 on an office party and $65 on a business dinner, so we're going to debit entertainment expense for $75. We spent $20 for 2 boxes of stationery and $15 for printer cartridges, so we're going to debit office supplies for $35. And that equals the $135 of tickets that were in the fund. However, remember when we counted the cash, we're short $5, so we debit cash short and over for the $5, and then we credit cash for the amount that is required to be able to replenish the fund, which is $140. We would take that check to the bank, we would cash it, and we would put the $140 back in the fund to restore it back to its original amount of $350 to start the next month. Requirement 3 says make the entry on October 1st to increase the fund balance to $425. So the only other time that we debit petty cash other than when we originally set up the fund is if we are going to increase the fund. So in this case, we're wanting to make the fund have $425 in it instead of $350. So we would debit petty cash for $75 and we would credit cash for $75. Take that check to the bank, cash it, and put the $75 in the fund. And that is the conclusion of the demonstration for problem 732B.